Hello and welcome to CYC News for the 26th of July 2020 and the 19th of Abib 1736 AM. I'm Bishoy Basilius. In today's headlines, the US instructs China to close Houston Consulate. The UAE launches historic first mission to Mars. Trump concedes pandemic will get worse before it gets better. Republic of Ireland adds 15 countries to travel list. Oxford vaccine triggers immune response. And Arsenal season not good enough according to manager Mikel Arteta. But first to the United States, where China has been ordered to close its consulate in Houston, Texas, a move described by Beijing as political provocation. Tensions have been rising between the US and China for some time. President Donald Trump's administration has clashed repeatedly with Beijing over trade and the coronavirus pandemic, as well as China's imposition of a controversial new security law on Hong Kong. The US State Department released a statement saying, "We have directed the closure of PRC Consulate General in Houston in order to protect American intellectual property and Americans' private information. We will not tolerate the PRC's violations of our sovereignty and intimidation of our people, just as we have not tolerated the PRC's unfair trade practices, theft of American jobs, and other egregious behavior." Earlier, Wang Wenbin, China's foreign ministry spokesman, had said, "In reality, in terms of the number of Chinese and American embassies and consulates in each other's countries, and the number of diplomatic and consular staff, the US has far more people working in China." The consulate is one of 5 in the US, not counting the embassy in Washington, D.C. It is unclear why this one was singled out. Over to the United Arab Emirates now, where the Gulf state's historic first mission to Mars is underway after a successful liftoff in Japan. The Hope probe launched from the Tanegashima spaceport and is now on a 500 million kilometer journey to study the planet's weather and climate. 2 previous attempts to launch the probe in the past week had to be called off because of adverse weather. Her Excellency Sarah Al-Amiri, the science lead on Hope, spoke of her excitement and relief in seeing the rocket climb successfully into the sky, and she stated the impact on her country would be the same as that on America when its people watched the Apollo 11 moon landing 51 years ago. She said, "It was an anchor for an entire generation that stimulated everyone that watched it to push further and to dream bigger. Today I am really glad that the children in the Emirates will wake up on the morning of the 20th of July having an anchor project of their own, having a new reality, having new possibilities, allowing them to further contribute and to create a larger impact on the world." Hope's arrival in February 2021 is set to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the UAE's formation. The UAE craft is one of 3 missions heading to Mars in July. Returning to the United States now, and President Donald Trump has warned the coronavirus pandemic there may get worse before it gets better, as he revived his virus briefings with a more scripted tone. In his first White House coronavirus briefing for months last Tuesday, a less off-the-cuff president echoed what public health officials on his pandemic task force have been saying, as he warned, "It will probably unfortunately get worse before it gets better, something I don't like saying about things, but that's the way it is. We're asking everybody that when you are not able to socially distance, wear a mask, get a mask. Whether you like the mask or not, they have an impact. They'll have an effect, and we need everything we can get. Cases are rising, particularly in the south and west of the country, perhaps most directly as a result of the administration's support for states to end mitigation measures before public health benchmarks were met." Mr. Trump also asked all Americans to wear face masks, practice social distancing, and employ necessary hygiene methods. To the Republic of Ireland now, where the country has released a green list of 15 countries, excluding Great Britain and the US, that travellers can go to and not self-isolate on their return. The 15 countries are Malta, Finland, Norway, Italy, Hungary, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Cyprus, Slovakia, Greece, Greenland, Gibraltar, Monaco, and San Marino. In a statement, the Irish government said, "Anyone arriving into Ireland from these countries will not have to restrict their movements. Passengers from any other country outside of those with a normal precautions advisory are asked to restrict their movements for 14 days. There is no change to the current policy in respect of travel from Northern Ireland." The list is reviewed every fortnight. The advice to avoid non-essential travel applies to all other countries. This is based on advice from officials, including public health experts. At present, travellers arriving in the Republic of Ireland from anywhere other than Northern Ireland are required self-isolate and restrict their movements for 14 days. In July, the Stormont executive agreed changes to its quarantine rules, meaning people arriving into Northern Ireland from more than 50 countries no longer need to isolate on arrival. Processes to restrict flight or passenger travel in certain circumstances will also be explored. To some health news, and a coronavirus vaccine developed by the University of Oxford appears safe and triggers an immune response. Trials involving 1,077 people showed the injection led to them making antibodies and T cells that can fight coronavirus. The findings are hugely promising, but it is still too soon to know if this is enough to offer protection, and larger trials are underway. The UK has already ordered 100 million doses of the vaccine. Professor Andrew Pollard from the Oxford Research Group said, We're really pleased with the results published today, as we're seeing both neutralizing antibodies and T cells. They're extremely promising, and we believe the type of response that may be associated with protection. But the key question everyone wants to know is, does the vaccine work? Does it offer protection? And we're in a waiting game. The vaccine is being developed at unprecedented speed and is made from a genetically engineered virus that causes the common cold in chimpanzees. It has been heavily modified, first so it cannot cause infections in people, and also to make it exhibit more like coronavirus. Scientists did this by transferring the genetic instructions for the coronavirus's spike protein, the crucial tool it uses to invade our cells, to the vaccine they were developing. This means the vaccine resembles the coronavirus and the immune system can learn how to attack it. The study showed 90% of people developed neutralizing antibodies after one dose. Only 10 people were given 2 doses and all of them produced neutralizing antibodies. And in sport, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has said his team's season is not good enough for this club, after a defeat at Aston Villa confirmed their worst finish since 1995. The Gunners can now finish no higher than 8th in the Premier League after Trezeguet's strike gave Villa the 3 massive points. Arteta said, "It has to hurt and we have to suffer. It's not good enough for this club. We need to improve in many areas, the team and individually. We are putting a strong plan together to do as much as we can in a short period, and the league table doesn't lie. The top teams in certain areas are better than us. We know the challenge, it's really big, and we're excited for what we have ahead of us." Arsenal qualified for the Champions League every season for 20 years under former manager Arsene Wenger, but now must beat Chelsea in the FA Cup final on the 1st of August to play in the Europa League next season. They last played Champions League football in the 2016-2017 season. They last failed to finish in the top 6 in 94-95, when caretaker manager Stuart Houston oversaw a 12th placed finish after George Graham's departure in February. And that's all for CYC News. A reminder that you can watch this news bulletin again throughout the week on YouTube. I'm Bishoy Basilis from the CYC studios in Sydney, Australia. See you next time.